Last time we left off, we took a look at how Linares was able to counter Lomachenko's probing jab on a number of occasions. The fact that Lomachenko was getting countered and doing this in the first place is because it was a simple miscalculation of the distance between himself and Linares. Lomachenko usually uses his probing jab to occupy his opponents as he sets up an angle of attack, or to set up his left hand. As we all know, when you probe or punch, there's always going to be an opening on you, so it's going to be important to do this when you're either out of range or off of the center line. And this technique is used most effectively when you shoot the probing jab to the lead hand of your opponent to essentially trap their lead hand. And this is what Lomachenko usually does to ensure he could freely step to the outside angle. However, we see here in the knockdown in the 6th round, Lomachenko makes a big mistake here. I'm not exactly sure what he was going for here, but we see him probe at Linares as he tries to step to the outside, but there's two problems here we see. Lomachenko's probing jab is to Linares' head instead of his lead hand. This means Lomachenko is in punching range, and Linares can hit him at this moment. You'll never get away with a jab this lazy inside of punching range, because you're just inviting your opponent to counter you. And the second problem is that Lomachenko was still on the center line as he did this. You can see he steps out here to the outside, but just look at where his upper body is. His head was still on the center line, so Linares can easily line him up with that right hand. After a very cautious 7th round, it's interesting to note that Lomachenko started most of his attacks from now on coming from an inside angle instead of the outside angle. This of course just means his moving to the inside of Linares' lead foot and towards the direction of Linares' right hand. This flies against the conventional wisdom of moving towards the outside, and a lot of people will ask, well, why is Lomachenko moving the wrong way? The thing is, there is no wrong way to move. Just like everything else in boxing, there's pros and cons to everything you do, and I'm going to show you why Lomachenko found so much success when he started to use that inside angle. Now take a look at this illustration that I made, where you could pretend that the boxer in red is Lomachenko, as you see his in a southpaw stance, and the boxer in blue is Jorge Linares. You see how the lead hand of both fighters line up exactly with each other, and it doesn't give the lead hand a straight path over to the target, and that's because the lead hand of the other fighter is in the way. Now, if Lomachenko were to move to the inside slightly, we see here in this picture, now that he has moved slightly towards the inside angle, his lead hand now has a clear pathway to his target. In this case, it's Linares. And that's because he moves slightly over to his left or to the inside. However, the reason why the conventional wisdom is to move to the outside instead of the inside. As you see here, the orthodox opponent now has a clear path for his straight right hand to hit the southpaw. Or in this case, Lomachenko would be walking into the right hand here. However, the good thing you could do about this is that if you properly maintain your distance, or you properly measure your distance with your lead hand, you should be able to see the straight right hand coming. And this is important because if the orthodox fighter throws their straight right hand and you've been doing a good job of measuring your distance with your lead hand with jabs and probes, you should be able to react to that straight right hand. And if you slip that straight right hand to the outside, you're going to have a big advantage over them. Watch as Lomachenko slips this jab to the inside and immediately retaliates with 2 straight left hands. And you see he keeps taking Linares to the inside, and that opens up his jab. Now watch here again as Lomachenko takes Linares to the left, and here Linares throws the jab and Lomachenko slips to the inside and counters with a right hand, and then he follows it up with a straight left hand. But what's really important to note is that after this right hook counter, Lomachenko got his head off of the center line by stepping to the outside, and as he did that, he shot the straight left hand at the same time. This is absolutely genius because he was able to counter the jab follow-up from Linares. This shows that Lomachenko has an extremely high boxing IQ. He counters Linares twice in one sequence by using the inside angle for the right hook and counters him again from an outside angle with the straight left hand. Genius.
Over the left eye of Linares.
This is really high-level stuff.
Unbelievable stuff. Right in the center of the ring. And Linares goes down.
This sensational liver shot knockout was set up by this very move by Lomachenko. What he's doing is using his forearm to pin Linares' gloves down on his head so that he can't move them. Since Linares was shelled up in a high guard, this gave Lomachenko the opportunity to pin both of Linares' gloves by using his forearm. This is what's known as controlling your opponent and is essential for elite boxing. So with Linares' guard stuck in place and his vision blocked, this gives Lomachenko a chance to get a free shot using his free hand at basically anywhere Linares' arms aren't. And there you see the liver shot that folds Jorge Linares in two. And unfortunately for Linares, he never saw this punch coming, and Lomachenko leaves the scene of the crime before the cops arrive. As always, thank you everybody for watching. This definitely was my favorite fight to watch this year, so I really felt like I had to do an in-depth breakdown. But if you learned something, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I will see you all in the next one.